So initially we had no one. Then we had a lady come in, and I didn't know how far along she was. I didn't know anything. So I took her to a room and I conducted her observations, and her blood pressure was looking quite high. So I did it again. I did it about 3 times and it kept getting higher. So it ended up being at like 170 over 90 something or 89 or something like that. So then I went on a goose chase. Is that what they call it? Or goose hunt? Went on a hunt for a manual blood pressure machine. So I checked the postnatal ward, I called the labour ward, and eventually I got one from the day assessment unit. So I got that. I conducted her blood pressure once again, and I think while I was gone, the midwife conducted a vaginal examination and found her to be 4 centimeters with her cervix very posterior and very hard. When you hear that, you don't think baby's coming soon. And then also, this woman was a first-time mum, but the pain was getting quite a lot for her, and she was actually on Entonox, and her waters had actually broken. So yeah, I did her blood pressure, manual blood pressure. You feel for her pulse, and then you press onto the air chamber, and you inflate the blood pressure cuff and see how far you can go until you cannot feel her pulse anymore, and then that gives you a kind of mark on where you will start to hear her blood pressure, so that you can go above this when you do it properly. So I did it again with the stethoscope, and I was hearing like her blood pressure begin at like 160. So I pumped up again, and then I was hearing it at like 158. So it was still pretty high. So what we did was we had to take her down to the labour ward, because with a high blood pressure, we don't have the facilities and the things to monitor it properly, the medications and all of that to monitor it properly in labour. So we took her downstairs, and then that's when me and the midwife I was with departed. So I was working with another midwife. I put her on the C.O.G monitor, conducted observations again. Her blood pressure had actually gone down. The doctor came in and did a review, and the doctor said that the way you are actually going, we're going to leave you and then do the examination again at 12, which is 4 hours from the last one. But if you keep on going and you're involuntary pushing, what we'll do is we'll give you an examination to see what's happening, because the noises she was making was like she was pushing. So these noises didn't change. It was still like she was pushing. So the midwife actually said, okay, I'm going to examine you. And yeah, throughout this, she was on Entonox and was just supporting her through her breathing, as well as documenting. So when the midwife was going to do her examination, she was going to do it because she didn't have the epidural. We saw vertex. Vertex was visible. How did we get from 4 centimeters to vertex visible within such a short amount of time? So anyway, vertex was visible. We was like, rah. So the midwife was like, I don't even need to examine you because you're fully dilated. You are fully dilated. And I was telling her, well done. I don't know how you got from 4 centimeters to fully dilated within those moments. Conversations I had later, I realized and I learned that when a woman has high blood pressure or PET in labor, their blood vessels are constricting like mad. They tend to have faster labors, basically. So that's why she progressed so much. Before this, she was involuntary pushing. After this, we just guided her through her pushing. To be honest, we didn't even guide her. They asked me, and I was like, listen, you've come this far. I say you just let your body do what it's doing. Just follow your body. So she still had the gas and air. I was tempted to tell her to stop breathing the gas and air, because I've heard midwives say that before. By the way, I'm 23, and the midwife I was working with was 23. 2 23-year-olds facilitating all of this, like, yeah. Crazy. She was like, even 2 black girls facilitating all of this. It was so nice. But anyway, yeah, I was tempted to tell her to stop breathing the gas, but I thought, let me not. She's done so well. I'm not going to give her instructions and tell her what to do. She's got this. So the only things I was telling her to do was to breathe, have longer breaths with her pushing, push for longer, because it's those long pushes where you see the progress, because baby's head was going in and out for so long. But we had a breakthrough moment, and by the way, I was using warm compress as well to stretch her perineum. So I must have folded it and put it in the water and then put in her perineum, and the midwife said to me, open it up and hold it in a particular way. And I realized with opening it up and putting it in a particular way, that's actually helping it stretch even more. So yeah, that was a good tip from her because I wasn't doing that before. Oh my gosh, it was just so nice. So crowning was occurring, and then we saw baby's head, and we just told her to keep going, keep going, keep going. And she was giving it her all, and we told her to stop, and she didn't hear us. So I shouted, I didn't shout, but I was like, stop, because she said that she might not hear us, so we might have to just make sure we say it really loud. So I said it really loud to her, and yeah, she stopped. And then afterwards we got to do the slower breaths, just to protect her perineum and help baby's head to come out in a more controlled way. And then before we knew it, baby was there. We supported mum and put baby on her to do skin to skin. She didn't want to wipe baby. It was like, yeah, we're not going to wipe the vernix off or anything, but we're just going to pat baby dry, stimulate the cry and all of that stuff. We discussed all of this beforehand. I also spoke to her about symptometrin, which I gave her afterwards for her uterus to contract, and she consented to that as well. And I spoke to her about quite a few things. So I did actually get the decision making part signed off on my pad, because I made decisions, but not just my decisions. I discussed it with her and created a plan of care with her. So yeah, so it was really good. I really enjoyed and will remember this birth, because I don't know how she got from 4 centimeters to fully. I guarded the uterus. I felt that uterus contracted well. Placenta was just there. Placenta came out. We checked it. It was fully intact. The only thing to highlight for afterwards was that her blood pressures went back high again. So we actually ended up giving her some medication. I wasn't there when it was discussed with the doctor, so I actually can't remember. I don't know. I can guess, but I don't know what medication was given to her. But it did help her blood pressure to come right back down. So I took PET bloods, which is, I'm going to try and remember, her group and save, her FBC, her group and save, which is like her blood group, her FBCs, her iron levels, and her platelets, which are really important because with PET, the platelet levels tend to drop. And then I also took her liver function test, and then her U's and E's, urea and electrolyte. That was also a good experience, good thing to experience for my learning. But yeah, that has been my last day. But yeah.